So I'm done uploading the other video. So it's like I don't know, my mind is too exhausted to even tell the whole drawn out story of telling more specific details of what happened um during that time of my twin sister. Lanika, encouraging my twin sister and the foster sister to have sex with boys. Um, I have my confirmation that the Kraft family is Masonic. The foster mom acted like she was part of a secret club, and she was very much into the occult, and she was a narcissistic abuser. So, I've never saw any Masonic symbolism around the foster mom Adrian Felder's house. But she did occult stuff like cremated her mother and cremated that her third husband, Al. His name was Alvia, Alvia, Alvia Felder, and he died um, December 12th, 19 trying to remember. December 12th, 1992. um and he was 47 years old. And so it's like dealing with that Kraft family. They grew up with us across the street, going to school with us. It's like, as I said, I can like have a discussion with my twin sister with any other Kraft family member, but Lanika is off limits. But you know, it's like um I remember it being in eighth grade, and the foster mom was outraged at the idea that Miss Cheryl Kraft, um, like, she was outraged at the idea that she said Miss Cheryl had prostituted her daughters to grown men. And she said, the foster mom said that when Miss Cheryl will be gone, and which I think Miss Cheryl knew about it, but Miss Cheryl will be gone, and then they had like a back house, and they used to Lanika and her two sisters used to supposedly have sex with grown men in the back house, while they were underage. But Shamela was the oldest, and Talisha was the middle one. But Talisha was like 2 years older than us, about 2.5 years older than us. But me and Talisha hung with each other. Well, me and Talisha were the scapegoat, the outcast. That was a point in time I questioned it. I mean, recently I questioned if Talisha could have been considered a targeted individual. They treated her with the same abuse, the way her Kraft, her family, treated her with the same abuse that I got treated and scapegoated, and they called me and Talisha crazy. It's like, well, how could you call if Talisha, and they would try to talk about stuff Talisha would do to you. But Talisha hadn't done anything. Talisha never killed anybody. She never hurt anybody. But they used to say to me and Talisha, they used to say the same thing about both of us in seventh, eighth, and ninth grade, and years more. And I remember I used to sit down on a bus and talk to Talisha, the transit bus. We used to ride the bus together, New Orleans RTA and the Jefferson Transit bus. We used to ride the bus together every day to and from school. And it seemed like Talisha seemed kind of like a fake friend, that she only wanted to be bothered when she felt like it. So she even had her moments when she thought she was superior or thought she was better than me. But, we both got treated the same way. If, um, but then Talisha, I mean, they used to do stuff like trying to make a fool out of me and Talisha. And back then, when we were teenagers, I don't know if Talisha exposed anything. I don't know. But Talisha, she for many years has a career. I'm surprised they hooked her up with that, with the career in working for the Jefferson Parish Sheriff Department. Um, so they hooked her up with that career, that job, and working in law enforcement. But I've been hearing that the Kraft family worked for the city, and that's why whatever crime or whatever wrong they did, they got let off. Like, if Miss Cheryl really was, I mean, the idea of Miss Cheryl prostituting her kids, Talisha, Lanika, and Shamela, to grown men for money, pimping her daughters out, then the reason that occultism and Freemasonry is why Miss Cheryl never got locked up. They say my cousin Rebecca Garnett, you know, was hot and fast, and they blame the child. You know, the in the black communities, I see people talk about this all the time about young black girls being quote unquote fast and hot and promiscuous and slutty at a young age, but the parents teach them that, and then the child is forced to walk around with that label with all the degrading names to be called. Never the guy, never the older man that's the pedophile, like Sicko R. Kelly. They say all those girls were fast and hot and promiscuous and slutty and throwing themselves at him and stuff like that. you know, None of the girls, I'm sorry, none of the guys who, I'm going to say it like this, none of the guys who used to hoe fuck was Stank Whore Lanika. None of them went to jail for having sex with underage Lanika either. I mean, and Darrell Sullivan is Shamela's husband. And I heard rumors that, about Miss Cheryl, Lanika, and Shamela all sleeping with Shamela's husband, Darrell. But Talisha was the outcast that, nobody wanted, or nobody, everybody try to say same thing about her. They try to say she was mentally slow and crazy. And New Orleans, they said throw it off, meaning like you were mentally loose headed, like mental airhead or whatever. But yet they said Talisha was smart as hell. Like they also used to say I was smart as hell. But I don't even know if Talisha's still being persecuted or being treated like an outcast, or if she joined them. I don't know. But, you know, and Talisha got ostracized and condemned so heavily. I mean, they got on her really heavy. She had a child at like 16 years old. But Danielle got pregnant at 12 by a 19-year-old, and Danielle's now deceased ever since last year. She died a year ago with stomach cancer or something. And so Danielle had three kids before turning 17. And then by the time she was at least 18, she had her fourth child, Danielle. And Talisha had only one child. And it's like they didn't really condemn Danielle like that. But Talisha got in the worst, you know, she got like condemned very heavily and punished for having a baby at 16. And Danielle was like 12. And I was, and it's like those ignorant Project Ghetto New Orleans people used to do bad stuff in front of me and my twin sister, or the foster kids who they didn't like, or the special ed kids who they didn't like. They would do stuff in front of our face and then threaten us not to tell or dare us to tell, or they would kick us out and force us to go in another room. Like the my biological brother Sean said the foster sister Joni's biological brother James and Mickey, the foster aunt Mickey's biracial foster boy James and Jamie, Sean said that James and Jamie used to sneak white girls in through the window to have sex with and then force him to go in another room. And Sean was older than both Jamie and James. They both were younger than him, ordering him around and telling him what to do because they figured he was slow and they tried to make it like he was slow and retarded, you know? And so they called me slow and retarded and crazy. But it's like so many people said that I had potential to be so just freaking smart as hell, but they figured the foster mom set us up for failure and ruined it on purpose for money, you know. And some people made it like as if I was smart enough to have been a threat to society, you know, because they said that I was smart, like the smartest kid in the classroom. They said I was the smartest kid in the classroom without trying in kindergarten, but yet they said I was the worst behaved. But they didn't question the abuse of what the foster mom was doing to us. You know, I felt mentally scarred and, you know, saw sex on TV as a child, and like it affected me. You know, I used to see like people used to, you know, the idea of sex on soap operas, and foster dad I used to watch porn. I was surrounded by sex and was like very curious. And one time I was in seventh going on eighth grade, and we took sex ed. We begged the foster mom to let us take sex ed because Lanika and Shamela and them used to talk so much about sex in front of us, and they used to watch porn in front of us. And one time when I was in seventh grade, Joni's brother James watched porn in front of us, and he was still an underage child himself because the foster family had all the channels. And there were times when I would walk downstairs and so happen to see the foster brother Joe watching porn, or the foster stepdad Mr. Terry would watch porn at the loudest volume, but Joe or James, they would watch porn on mute, you know. And so it's like during that situation, you know, that day, it was the Saturday before November 27th. So it must have been Saturday, November 22nd, 1997. And we were 14 years old. And the foster mom's niece, Mildred, the golden queen of the queen whore of the family, you know, Mildred's two, well, the third child I don't think was born yet, but Mildred's first two kids were over there. And I remember her son Taylor had punched me so freaking hard. And I don't know where James went, but James was there that day. And then eventually, I don't know if he left to go somewhere. And what happened was, Monica forced me and Talisha When we were in eighth grade, Lanika and Joni did something similar. Forced me and Talisha and Brandy, my twin sister Brandy, to stay downstairs while Joni and Lanika go upstairs and do sexual things with boys while they try to keep us in the dark. And Brandy was even getting mad and wondering. Like another situation happened when we were in eighth grade, something similar, and then again, like in 10th grade, where Lanika thought she had the authority over us. Well, she didn't even live there, but she thought that, and even the foster mom allowed Lanika to sleep on her brand new sofas while we weren't even allowed to sit on her brand new sofas. And the foster mom got her brand new sofas and forced us to sit on the floor as a punishment, and then falsely accused us of tearing up the sofas and scapegoat and blame us for everything bad that happens. Everything blame and scapegoated the foster kids towards the foster kids. The foster kids that she didn't like. So we wondering how was Lanika allowed to sleep on these brand new sofas in eighth grade while we were forced to sit on the floor, and the foster mom and her sister Mickey will over exaggerate and falsely accuse us of jump sitting on the sofa. We would be tired and exhausted and just plop down on the sofa, but they'll use that to justify why. I mean, they're the ones who put us on these psych medications that make us act whatever. So it's like, anyway, back to, yeah, so a similar situation happened that day. And then also when we were in 7th grade, my twin sister Brandy told me, she waited a year later to tell me that Lanika and Joan, the foster sister Joni, pinned her down while Lanika would pretend that Brandy's a boy and then straddle on her like as if she's a guy, and then laugh about it. And Lanika used to tell my twin sister, like, if you was a boy, I'd rape you and stuff like that. And Lanika always treated my twin sister way with more respect, and the whole Kraft family used to treat my twin sister way better than me, and they used to look down on me and act like they couldn't stand and hated me because I was a quote unquote a rat or a snitch or whatever. It's like they mainly feel like, I mean, it's like they they would do all this stuff and then threaten me not to tell. And then the foster mom, like when I was 18 years old, she's like, I don't discuss my business with you. I don't tell you none of my personal business because you'll be the one to go back and tell. So, like, so I had been known to be the crazy person and the snitch. But back then it was my twin sister was called the snitch, but the word crazy wasn't attached to it. So it's like there's so much that the foster mom, even out my own life, that the foster mom has kept from me. That, I mean, I bet you it probably would have drove me over the edge of certain things if I would have found out, just finding out that was kept hidden from me, from foster or biological family. So I don't even know if it could have been the foster or the biological mom that could have, or biological family or foster family, but I think it was more the foster family who basically sold me into this program, for the targeting program for blood money. But you know, I mean, I'm just questioning. I guess I unknowingly exposed or halted. I didn't halt or stop it because they kept doing it, but I unknowingly. Um, they said that if I forgot, I think it's called a grand dame, but I don't. I never heard of a grand dame being under a teenager or a child. I thought a grand dame was an older adult that basically, you know, or I forgot no, not it's not a grand dame. It's another name for a female. it's like a female who recruits people into like sexual trafficking or whatever. But Lanika was underage. Well, I forgot what you call it though. Um, but I'm sitting here wondering, like, if those older men were Lanika's handler. Like, I don't even like, and I don't even know if Lanika was an MK Ultra victim or not, or if she was MK Ultra. But I just know that she was, you know, I don't know if she was an MK Ultra victim or not, but she would, act out sexually, like do stuff like pulling her pants down in front of, I mean, like towards every man that would pass by. And then John from the Kraft family, Michelle's brother, who's Lanika's uncle, would lie to everybody and say that I flirt with every man that passed by. And it's like, why everything Lanika did wrong or sexual, then John would blame everything and scapegoat me and lie on me saying I did it. And that was bizarre. I don't even know if he made those lies about my twin sister, but it was always me. And the foster mom, well, I'm not allowed to stand up or say that he's lying, or the foster mom had this thing where I was not allowed to say that an adult was lying and that I'm supposed to respect all adults. Then when I become an adult, now 17-year-old kids can treat me like I'm slow and be disrespectful and abusive, and they can lie on me and say I'm lying while I'm telling the truth. And so, I don't, as I said, I forgot the name of what it's called. Not exactly a pimpstress, but it's like a female version of somebody who try to recruit recruit you into the sexual pedophile ring, or the human trafficking or sex ring or something. I don't know. But I was the damn targeted individual. Didn't know back then. But everything hyped up and ramped up like really crazy when I was blacklisted before I turned 15. That all the smear campaign and the slander, and it wasn't until then that the foster mom was slandered. Like the psychiatrist herself never said I was well, she didn't have me diagnosed with schizophrenia. Dr. Champra Chakraborty had me just diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, Tourette syndrome, and generalized anxiety disorder. And then after I turned 18, the other psychiatrist, Dr. Wilson, added on major depressive disorder. And and people from the nursing home used to be like, keep cutting up, and watch they slap another label on you. And while my twin sister smeared me to the nursing home and had them being abusive towards me, and I cried when they tried to lie and say that I was greedy and come just for the food, when we were actually volunteering at the nursing home across the street from the high school we graduated from. And at the other nursing home, like the first nursing home we volunteered at, they treated us kind of with like more respect. But then, how the hell you a teenager doing volunteer work and they refuse to give you any food to eat after working 8 hours as a 15 or 16 or 17 years old, you know? And they had this white lady, she was ignorant, project and ghetto, and delusionally believed she was black. She tried to be messy and ignorant, and she was supposedly the supervisor, and she said, I would never hire either one of y'all," talking about me and my twin sister. And so my twin sister went and smear campaigned me to the nursing home, and I was not allowed to have a voice or express myself. And that black lady, she was black and delusionally believed she is white, saying, keep cutting up, and watch they slap another label on you. And she was also telling me what the foster mom said when she wasn't even connected to the foster mom, never met the foster mom. And she also tried to say, you have to learn how to conform to the norms of society. You know? So I'm bitter and upset because it's like I'm being blamed for everything Lanika had done, all the sexual stuff that they scapegoated me for. Well, she should have been, the foster mom should have been mad at her, but that was like the biological brother Wyatt being scapegoated because Wyatt, uh, it's like the foster mom's cousin Kirk had two sons named Kirk and Brandon, and Kirk and Brandon did sexual molested my twin sister when we were 7 years old, and they were like 9 and 11, and so then Wyatt was the fall guy or the scapegoat. But then Wyatt is not being gang stalked or a targeted individual today, and Wyatt is he's supposed to be seen by society as retarded too, but he can get a more free life than I can, you know. And Wyatt always like go long periods of not wanting to talk to me for no reason, and laugh about me and my twin sister being raped. But then Wyatt would call me up and tell me about this serial killer. He said he was living in hotels in Houston, Texas, and then he would tell me about the serial killer, scapegoating and blaming him about something. But Wyatt doesn't believe the New World Order or the truth or anything, and he would treat me like how the rest of the family treat me. So I'll see y'all later. I got the warning on my video again. So bye bye.